Well, good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today of the Rhino, we're drinking a beer. Today's beer is from Quebec. It was sent to me by the one, the only, the mighty, pantsless French wizard himself, Guy, of, originally of Beer Guy Reviews, now of Drinking in Canada, because everybody needs a little dick. And he sent me this beer. This beer is from Derive Brasserie Artisanale, so Derive Artisanal Brewery. I don't know what Derive really was. This is with lots of juice, the Grosse juice. It is 5% alcohol. It is Grosse Recolte. And it is a Cerise aux Framboises de Quebec. So a Quebec raspberry sour. Lots of stuff on the back here. I get asked all the time, do I speak French because I'm Canadian? And no, I don't speak French. I do, for the most part, purposely massacre it when I read it. And the reason I purposely massacre names and words when I'm reading in French, and Guy knows this, is because there are a lot of people in Quebec that get very worked up when you do anything incorrectly that has come from Quebec. So I really do like fucking with them when they're getting angry and they're like, "Oh my God, you don't know anything. You're a stupid Englishman." Oh. It makes me want to say the stuff worse. And then I usually say it worse. So it does seem like I'm being a complete and utter dickbag, and to an extent I am, but I'm not at the same time, in that I don't speak it well, but I speak it okay. And if people are slow enough, I can usually understand it. I was going for a bilingual certificate once in my life, and then I gave up on it. And at grade 11, I gave up. So I took French until grade 11, but I haven't used French in forever. Except for when I was trying to communicate with the Revenu Quebec, and that was fun. Anyway, so this is a brew pub in Gatineau, Quebec. It's a juicy beer brewed with an enormous amount of Quebec raspberries. For the backstory, these raspberries are handpicked by a team of very, very, very small people who select only the finest fruits right at the top of the branches. And I don't know anyone that's drank this, but lots of actually a lot of people from Ontario have checked this in. No French. Of the 88 people that have checked this in, it is a 3.97 out of 5 overall. And there's a lot of comments that are in English. And I would say actually probably 50% of the comments were in English over French. This just arrived today. Thank you again, Guy. That's technically a lie. It just arrived yesterday. It just ended up at my house today. I just made it out to the post office today. So I did a raspberry sour earlier tonight, and I said, with the amount of raspberries they said they put in it, I expected it to be hazy. This is pretty much exactly what I expected out of that beer. And if I had gotten this with the head that beer had, it would have been a magical look. It still looked really good, but it would have been a magical look. This looks like what I expect from a raspberry sour. I would say the only thing that I'm a little perturbed about is there really isn't any head. But there is a snap, crackle, pop. So sniff it from the can. Okay, so I know Guy does not like sour beers. I know that, so I don't know if he's ever tried this beer. You did just see me drip a little bit down my leg. I don't know if he's ever tried this beer. But out of the can, it smells like raspberry and movie theater butter, which worries me a little bit. However, brew pubs do tend to have sometimes some problems with diacetyl, or diacetyl, as some people call it. Not all of them, but some of them, and it smelled like it. Now, it might have just been what I was smelling, because out of the glass, all I smell is raspberries, though sweet raspberries more so than anything else. Cheers, let's try it. Okay. Where does it sit in the world of raspberry sours? I don't think it sits at the very top, but I don't think it's at the bottom. I don't even think it's at the middle. I think it's above the 50th percentile for sour raspberry beers I've had, because I've had a lot of sour raspberry beers. However, you have things like Pinball Wizard from New Level. You have things like Totally from Half Hours on Earth. You have, well, there's an abundance of them. And a lot of them are really good, and some of them are really bad. This one's in the really good range, but I don't think it's as high as I would give some others. Partially for the nose out of the can. That let me down a little bit. And then the visual appeal. With the no head, I was expecting either bright white head or some pink head. I really didn't get much. So I think, as of right now, the only things I could say bad about it is the visual appeal of the head, because the beer's visual appeal on its own, that is splendid right there. And the scent out of the can, those are the two things I would talk about right now if you were to ask me the minuses of this beer. On the plus side, I just burped and it tasted like raspberry jam. It's 5% alcohol. Carbonation plays across the tongue. Sweet raspberries up at the forefront. Bitter tannic raspberries at the back end. So a well-balanced beer as well. That being said, a little bit of that telltale lactobacillus, slight bit of perm chemical on the back end. It's hidden really well, but it's there. A lot of breweries do a really good job hiding it. This brewery has done a good job hiding it. There are a lot of breweries that don't hide it at all either. All in all, I think it's a very good beer if you like raspberry sours. If you're not a sour beer guy, I don't think it would be for you. If you're not a raspberry guy, I don't think it would be for you. But if you like raspberries, and when I say guy, I guess person. I know. I'm in my 40s. I need to learn the lingo again, I guess, of life. And I spent years in the north, and you didn't have to know anything up there. My years in the north is when everything got really correct down here. So I'm coming from a place of I'm coming from behind in this. I know how that can be taken, but yeah. That's a very good beer. The earlier raspberry sour I had, I gave it 9.5 out of 10. I don't think this is as good as that one, but I think it's very good. I'm going to give it an 8.75 out of 10. I don't think it's a 9 and above beer, but I think it's really a beer that if you like the style, it's really worth a try. It's very well balanced. It goes down rather nicely. There's no off flavors. If you are sensitive to lactobacillus, it's not that much of that perm chemical flavor that lactobacillus gives off. At least to me, I know other people have told me they get it as well. Excuse me. But there is a little bit of it hidden back there. But you don't taste it when you burp or anything either. So I mean, yay. It's a solid beer. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.